And we will go live in just a few minutes. I guess in 1 minute and 45 seconds we'll go live. All right, in the meantime, I'm just going to keep working away here in the background. Hopefully all things are good with everybody here today. And you know, Safety Dog, we're talking today, we're going to be talking about truck driver files. What's needed in truck driver files. Hope you know, this is kind of, I don't want to say this is a real exciting day. Truck driver files, oh yeah. But it is necessary. Truck driver files are absolutely a necessity when it comes to insurance renewals, DOT numbers, all your safety score numbers, and if you're in Ontario, your CVOR number. So I just want to say it's really, really important. Certainly, driver files can put you out of business if you don't have them adequately. So we will start in just 27 seconds or thereabouts. And I hope everything goes well today, both for you and for me. This is live. Today is what is it? February? I guess it would be March the 15th at exactly 1 o'clock. Oh my gosh! So here we go. 3, 2, 1. We are going live. And welcome to another episode. Whoops, don't hit the mic, Chris. Another episode of The Secrets of Safety Dog. And like I was saying, we are talking about truck driver files. Truck driver files and how they relate to safety scores, specifically conditional CVORs. So with that, let me begin today. Whoops, and already you see it went and messed up. I don't want you there. We will go back to that. And now, I guess I have to go back to that there, and then we'll see here that we didn't want that at all. We want here what happened to my keynote? What happened to my PowerPoint presentation? There we go. It's the beauties of live, let me tell you, it's always wonderful. So welcome to another episode of The Secrets of Safety Dog. You can always catch me on YouTube, and all of these videos get tagged and uploaded to YouTube, by the way, so that you can research them and use them on YouTube. And don't forget, if you appreciate this, to let me sit here, hit like, you say like, and comment and subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right. So with that, let me see if I can do this without screwing it all up. And there we go. So conditional CVOR. Last week we talked about a failed audit. Sorry, how do you get a conditional CVOR? There's really two ways. One is a failed facility audit, and the other one is your OVR, overall violation rate is greater than 70%. And in that audit, there was three profiles. Let me see if I can get my fingers out there. 3 profiles, and that was maintenance, QR&R, which is basically driver files, and then hours of service. So if you failed the QR&R, that's really what we're talking about today, and that is driver files. So we're going to go a little bit deeper. What does MTO want you to have in a driver file? So this is kind of superficial, and then we're going to talk about what the insurance industry wants you to have. So MTO says, hey, you better have a copy of the valid driver's license, and then of course they want you to have, or they want your drivers to have the proper class of license with all the proper endorsements, and transportation of dangerous goods certificate if applicable, a driver abstract that is less than 12 months old at the time of the audit, a record of all convictions. You need to know about the convictions that your drivers get. So you need to have those, I think it's for 24 months actually. And then all crashes, you need to have a record of all crashes, both in personal and in corporate trucks. And then the record of action taken, you also need that. So insurance wants to see a heck of a lot more. If you didn't see it in the notes there, go to safetydawg.com/free, find your driver file checklist, and then download it. All right, because that is what we're going to be going over right now. And let's see if this works. Hey, it worked. So that driver file checklist that I urge you to download, the first thing on it you are going to find is DQ, stands for Driver Qualification Application. And the insurance industry, or if you go to the states, the US DOT or FMCSA, they want you to get 10 years of history if it's a commercial driver. Right? They want 10 years. If it's not 10 years, they need at least a minimum of 3 years of history, and then as much commercial driving experience as applicable up to and including 10 years. Next, they want a signed drug pre-employment test statement. Many Canadian-only companies now have a statement like this. I know that Driver Check, and I get I get no remuneration for referring you to Driver Check, but I know Driver Check has a statement that they have written for Canadian-only carriers, so that under certain circumstances you can do drug and alcohol testing. And with the legalization of cannabis, it might be a good idea for you. I'm not a lawyer, I'm just saying a lot more people are using it now. Controlled substance test results before crossing the border. If you are a cross-border carrier, you need those test results before they cross the border. You need 3 years of references completed, or in the States they call this history. So 3 years of history completed. You got to have that documented, written down in the file. The initial driver abstract. Why do I say the initial driver abstract? I would really encourage you to stamp that and say this is the original, do not destroy, because if you ever have to defend yourself against improper hiring, often called negligent hiring or negligent entrustment, as the lawyers call it, then you want to have all of the original stuff that you made your hiring decision with. So keep that. The initial commercial driver's abstract, if your province has one. I know that Ontario and Ontario and Alberta have those at least. What is the date of the MVR 3-year abstract? And because you need to get it at least once a year. And then the same thing for the commercial driver abstract. Copy of the driver's license. Make sure this is a checklist. Make sure it is in the file. When does that driver license expire? Because you're going to have to chase the driver to get a new copy. PSP, if you cross border, every insurer that insures you for cross-border trucking, or if you are an American company, you need to be pulling your PSP reports for every applicant. Drug and alcohol clearinghouse inquiry. Now, you can either do this yourself, as I understand it, or your drug testing consortium will do it for you for a fee, but they will do it for you. All right, that's certainly the easiest way to get that. Your driver's license expiry, as I say, you need to have an expiry list. Somehow you need to be tracking all of these expiries, dangerous goods, driver's license, medical. Everybody needs a medical who's driving a commercial driver's license, or certainly with a Class 1 or a AZ in Ontario. You have a medical, and you as the trucking company need to know when those medicals expire, because you want to make sure the driver's getting his medical or her medical, and you are getting an up-to-date record in your file. CPIC. All right, what is this? This is a criminal record search. CPIC, I believe, is police information data. So Canadian Police Information something or other. All right, but you want to get a CPIC search. That means they're searching for that driver right across Canada, and it looks much better in your driver files than anything else. The insurance industry, I said this is largely driven by the insurance company. MTO do not require written tests, but your insurance company wants to see written tests. MTO says it is a best business practice to have written tests, and they would like to see it in the driver file, but they can't give you a ticket. Now, if you downloaded this, it is a 2-page document. Now we're on page 2. A road test, a minimum of 40 kilometers. And of course, your road test should be carefully selected. The route needs to be carefully selected to have intersections and highways, railroads, things like that, all right? Your annual review date. Yes, you need to be doing an annual review. If you're a cross-border carrier, that is in legislation. If you are here in Canada, it is strongly recommended. And again, the insurance companies want to see annual reviews. A receipt of your company policy book. Everyone needs a company policy book for the drivers. And if you don't have one, that is something I help many carriers with, but you need to have one. Most safety consultants have them, that they make them available to their customers. A copy of the current dangerous goods certificate, and of course that expires every 3 years. Again, that's another item for your expiry list. A record of driver convictions, and I say here for the preceding 4 years. Some provinces want 4 years, some provinces only want 2. You got to find out what it is that your province wants. A record of all collisions. So, and I do include personal collisions in this, because you need to know what your drivers are doing on their personal time, because it may very well affect their insurability. So, hey, good day, good day. I don't get to see who's on there, but I see we have one live viewer, and I thank you for the thumbs up. And actually, if I brought comments on, yeah, leave me a comment, let me know who you are. That'd be perfect. Record of collisions and a record of administrative penalties imposed by a peace officer. And as I already stated, you do want to have the PSP, but you need to have the signed PSP waiver or release form, because you can't just go pulling PSP reports whenever you want. It's a legal document, as well as an abstract. When you go to pull your driver's abstracts, both the commercial abstract and the 3-year abstract, it is strongly recommended that you get their permission to pull it. Now, a form that they sign when they are applying to your job can last forever if it's worded correctly, so you don't need to have it signed every year or every 90 days, just once. And tell them what you are going to be using these abstracts for, because by the way, you are sharing private and confidential information with your insurance company, at a minimum, with your insurance safety representative. Hey Sanjeev, how are you? Glad to see you. And so you're sharing these things with your insurance company. You should be telling your driver that you're sharing them. All right, and a record of all training. Yes, MTO, DOT, every province documents that you need to be doing training of your drivers. The Canada Labor Code says you've got to train your drivers. Here in Ontario, the Ontario government says you must train your drivers. Every province says you must train. The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration in the States says you must train your drivers. So make sure you have documented training. And I really recommend at least once a month. Your insurance company would love you if you had documented training once a month. And I think the only way that is practical for that is one of the online training services, such as my favorite, Carrier's Edge, or Infinity is another very good supplier. Carrier's Edge is Canadian, eh? So I always promote Carrier's Edge, as well as make sure you get the fast card. And for the owner operators, your insurance provider wants to see that you've submitted this form. It's called an 1149A form on behalf of the owner operator to WSIB. Then the owner operator gets a letter back from WSIB saying, yes, you are an owner operator and you can opt out. And if you do opt out, then you need to have third-party alternative insurance coverage. So third-party alternative insurance coverage, you need to have that for your owner-operators. And of course, lastly, get somebody to audit your driver files. And if you are auditing the driver files, sign and date. All right, whoa, man, was that ever fast. All right, so I just want you to do that. Let me switch cameras over here. I feel like one of those weather people walking all around the place so that you can better see the screen. All right, with that, I think it's that button there I wanted to get back to. So I appreciate you hanging out with me for a few minutes today. Next week, we didn't talk about, what did I say we're doing next week? Next week, we are going into driver file errors. So driver file errors is what we're going to be talking about next week. I'm going to pull out a driver file, a driver application form, and walk you through the form and point out the areas that I consistently see that are incorrect when I do driver file audits. And these are the things that the insurance providers are also finding. And of course, you want to correct them whenever that's possible. So that's what we're doing next week. With that, peace, love, grooviness. Yeah, I'm old. I lived through those years. All right, Safety Dogs out. Have a great day. Have a great week. See you next Monday at 1 o'clock.